I want to go to our history.
Okay.
Wow, I have so much to say about this song.
Go for it.
Talk about swimming. This to me feels swimming. In fact, I wrote down it, and this again is when I first listened to it, not that it's the best thing to say or not, but I thought I really, really love, I never was a Madonna fan, but when she came out with Ray of Light, I love that record and I can listen to the whole thing and it's very soothing to me. And in that's there's a second song or the first couple of songs, there's this kind of swimming, there's even one called Swimming, and this kind of quality that feels like it's underwater, it's just swimming. So, and then it feels dreamlike to me, the song. I also want to say that over this last year, someone that I've mentored turned me on to this book, Women Who Run with the Wolves, which I'm sure you know about this book because
I do.
You're all much further ahead in some ways than me. But there's a story in it that I read, it's toward the end. It's called La Selva Subterránea. And it's
I don't know it because I didn't get to the end.
It's the initiation in the underground forest. And it's basically about how a woman, the stages of life that a woman goes through in claiming herself and how she gives herself away and goes through all these things. It was at some point one of my ideas has been that I would write my own journey through this. I went through that journey. So it reminded me a lot of that story. And can I just like talk freely and then?
I love it. Yes, it's really, really helpful.
So I think the lyrics are so powerful and the music is so powerful. And I definitely want us to talk about the evolution of the music with the lyrics. But the way that the drum beat starts, and it's again this there's a synchronizer, right? There's some there's this march at the end. So there's a lot to the music, a lot of instruments. It feels like the song feels triumphant to me and powerful, very powerful. I love how at the beginning you repeat this question about this patch of grass. You want to know this. And when the fertile life fell. So I'm very like intrigued by that then. And I had forgotten that there was a fire in your background. When I looked at some stuff about you, I don't really remember it enough. You can tell me more if you want, but but the guitar is so prominent in this, and like I said, it feels like a march at the end, and there's this evolution going on of the story, and the story to me is about evolution in some way. There's a lot of cosmic story to it, but so I love how the song is arranged, that there's this repeat of the questions, and then the part where you say oh, you know what? Before we continue, let's listen to the song.
Okay.
All right. I have to figure out how I'm going to do it now. Okay.
You're going to your email? I don't even, I have to go to my email every time I download it.
I know, me too. I'm so bad with that.
I still don't know.
You know why? Because we just want to get to it. We don't want to learn how
every single time. I just want to get to it. Yeah.
On the computer. All right, ready? Oh God, I love this song so much. Actually, I think this is the one I want to dance to.
Well, if you feel moved, I mean.
No, to record. Shadow.
When an hour patch of grass
I'm actually going to do this, which is annoying, I know, to interrupt, but there's so
Dude,
much of this song we have to pause and talk about a little
don't,
bit of
don't.
time. So I wanted to say this song to me is a call and response too.
It's like, I love all that you're saying about it. Yeah, I mean, I want to take it all in before
Okay.
yeah.
Well, so it feels like a call and response. And then you've got in just that, there's a little ticking that starts.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say something about that? Those two things?
Well, so much of this, so this song for me is the song that has captured the sound that I've been trying to create for a long time. It is the way I like to sing. It feels really conversational. And I think this song is from me. This is my voice, because with a lot of these, and so yeah, the sounds that this was a finger picking song, which I don't normally finger pick really, but it was to get it was more to get the rhythm of it, because it's just me and my guitar, and so I worked really intimately, I think, with Hector on this, where I felt true collaboration, at which he understood what I was trying to say.
I can hear that. I can
Yeah.
definitely hear that. Tell me more, because
Yeah,
that's what I'm
with
thinking
each
about.
sound, with the percussion particularly, it's again that like syncopated heartbeat kind of thing, but also very so how much do you want me to say more about so this song is like my dissertation on epigenetics.
Go ahead.
So when people started to become a buzzword, I was so excited, because to give language to something that I had a hunch about, or I felt in my body, or I saw being lived out, that genes can get turned on and off in terms of how we live our lives and our experiences, and that we carry those stories in our DNA, in our bodies. So right, I've done all the, the body keeps the score, and all the trauma and work. And so this song felt like the whole song feels like a bridge in the album. So this is the bridge to me and the next generation, really. So I'm the bridge, and my daughters are on the other side, and my ancestors are over here, and I get to sing as me. So the fact that you're picking up on all of those sounds is, we really worked hard on the whole sound being a representation and a expression of that.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is maybe also what reminded me of that Ray of Light record, because she collaborated with someone like that with all those sounds.
Yeah, because there are really a lot of like, I mean, he does electronic, yes. So love that you.
And it feels like the nervous system. The song feels like the nervous system.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you what it makes me feel like when I listen to it. God, I can't really find the word for it, but it's like, it's visceral. Like I feel like I'm salivating. Like there's something so alluring to it. So like I want to consume it in a way, or it's like pulling me toward it.
So how does that, when you say that, I think of the line, maybe you'll feel something, you won't know why, a certain longing for the deep. Yes. And I feel like this, I love that line, because sometimes I get really frustrated with words. They're not saying exactly what I want them to say, or doing but I think that song for me is what that is, that longing for the deep.
Totally. And that is the line. Maybe you'll be afraid, you'll feel something. And it's very, you're giving counsel to us. You're saying like, don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
and it just, even like, we can go on with the song, because what comes with the first, maybe the sirens in the street and the secrets building the story. And I just want to say too, that the word siren to me was very significant. And I'm sure you meant it this way, but the fact that, there are literal sirens, I guess, in the history, the siren, and even it reminds me of this story, because they have to go under to the deep and come back to, like, the ancestors, the female ancestors have to teach the woman again, so she can come back. But then you're a siren, right? You're singing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking the mermaid again.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's just, again, like I'm feeling the depths of understanding that you can hear in the song. It means so much to me. So I just want to say that. It's just like with your poetry, I don't know, it's being able to just really appreciate someone's spiritual practice and connection. So I just want to say that the siren, yeah, because in this story, which is the story that I'm carrying in my body and that my dad carried in his body, it's more specific to him, was sirens came after his mother died on the beach in front of him. So on the beach in a beautiful day in September, he was very much afraid of sirens after that. Just hated to hear them. So it was so specific to his story, right? But we all have an association to those kinds of sirens, emergency. And so I always thought, to me, like, how do I react to sirens? How do I react to sound? And then also, like, looking at my daughter, Maya was just a baby when I wrote the beginning of this song, and I was longing for wild, and I was looking at the patch of grass and feeling very suburban life, and feeling like a longing to know the history of the world, to know the history of the trees around me, to be a longing for that deep ancestry, to feel more connected to, wild women running with the wolves. And that was the longing. Meanwhile, she was, little hands tugging at the roots and all the symbolism that goes with it. But yeah, and then later that the siren is that siren that calls you to the deep, right? I mean, that's that siren song, that longing. So that it came in, it wasn't strategically, I wasn't manipulating it, but that's how it evolved. And this song, I loved writing this song because I wrote that part exhausted with my first baby. I think I wrote the second part after Rumi was born. And then the third part I wrote in an abandoned church in Vermont. The very last section that's a little different. There's a woman that you never met, and she's deep inside your bones. And it felt like a religious experience.
Well, it does, because the way that it reads, well, we're always living with the dead, the repeating of that. Like, that could be, not that it's going to be the title of the song, but that's such a just fact of life. And the deep inside of you, it is very spiritual, and I feel like we should listen to the rest of it now.
Okay.
Wherever that it is.
Okay. No, now it's like even harder because I have to find it. Yeah.
Sirens singing in the street. Those ladders coiled in your sweet body. They hold the secrets, spin the
Love that at the end, that guitar.
We kept it in. I love that.
I've danced this in your pool, and when I'm dancing, I was just remembering it in my mind's eye that I'm just touching my fingers and I'm swirling. And I dance with my eyes closed, right? Then when I open it up and like all that purple and the flowers and the wild flowers, and I just feel like I'm like I'm one with, that's how I feel when I'm dancing anyway, that I'm just one with it. But whew.
So cool. And just like you said, that feeling of, I mean, underwater forest. I mean, like the ancestors coming up. I think about under the ground a lot, like the mycelium and the connections that are always there, and the ball of fire, like at the earth's core. And and I don't know if other people think about that.
This is so deep time, like this whole, that's part of why I also want to dance to it, although Mercy, I mean, I could do all of them. But one of the things we learned so much about in that program was that have these contexts. And so it goes greater and greater. And to see that because we all are from the universe, we possess all of it too. So that flaring forth is still in us.
Yeah.
They call it the first flaring forth.
Mm.
And right, everything that ever was is in us.
Right.
So we have that wisdom.
And that's the oneness that you like. It's so ineffable. And yet this is what I try to write songs about.
It's funny you say that word, because I think it was last year that I came across that word and I was just like, that's the word.
Mm. Yeah, when I came across that word, I was like, where has this word been? This is what I'm talking about here.
Inside of you. It just had to crawl up the ladder to your mouth.
Exactly.
So let me see if there's anything else. What made you turn it into kind of a march at the end, or it sounds like a march? I don't know. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think it sounds like a march. I don't know if it sounded as much like a march when I play it acoustically. There's a woman.
And I'm not sure if march is the right, but there's a kind of steady part, right? What do you think of that?
Yeah, that part was written at a different time. And it came to me, like I said, in that abandoned church. It was in Vermont. I had this artist residency, and it was the first time I was away from Rumi. I was like pumping breast milk in the morning and then like writing, and it was so cool. But I had like my own studio space, but then I got to sometimes go to this abandoned church where it was a venue, and it was just me, and it was like so cool. And I wrote it again, singing it, not writing it down. But I had that song, I had all the parts, and I knew it needed a last bit, and it sounded different to me than the other parts. And so when I play it on the guitar, I'm just like, it is like a march, but I'm strumming those strums, like I'm done, 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 done. So I think we went with that, and it just feels like it's more of the timelessness, really. I don't know. It feels more of a proclamation. It feels more of a
and sort of first of all, how courageous of you to always keep at your writing, and imagining you going off to do that, with Rumi and the whole thing, and then again all the trepidation that any of us have as we just pursue anything, and organizing ourselves to even do it, getting the brain cells together to march in the same direction, strum in one direction. But
Right.
it may be that's also part of it. Maybe what transpired for you as a person at that moment in time in your own life, in your own journey with this project, even, with your songwriting, or because you were away from family for a little while too.
I was away from Rumi for the first time, and more than like, it was like a 5-day thing. They came to visit me one of the days to make it less. But it was like, I think I've said this to you before, like in the beginning of, even when Maya was a baby, it was really hard for me to write. I felt like if I would get into that zone, I was like abandoning my baby, because it is a very, it's a flow state, and it's very much being completely connected to myself. And I'm talking about when she was like breastfeeding, like really little. And so I had to ease back into what it felt like to be with myself. Also, I had changed quite significantly. It's the fastest change I've ever had. So yeah, I never thought of it that way, because I always think of the magical church and how it came through me. I had such ambitions to write like the whole album. The first album had just come out. And I didn't do any promoting of it. I just was so happy that it was done. And I got to this 5-day thing, and I was like, I'm going to write the whole next album. And I got the end of this song, but it came through loud and clear. And then, 7 years later, here I am.
But the song though, is what you just said was the bridge though, where you came into your voice.
Yeah. Right. It was. Yeah.
So the fact that it kind of gets very singular there at the end.
Yeah. I know. And I never really am I ever really so direct where I'm like, there's a woman that you never met, and I'm sort of talking. Because I think it's in all of us. I know that. The one thing that is universal is that we're in a woman's body. We're in a womb, and in our bodies, we are carrying, whether we like it or not, history. And so, I did this research on bones because
it's so funny you say that. Go ahead.
Because I was like, it was so interesting to me. I said, tuck down deep inside your bones. I'm like, is it really in your bones? It's really in your DNA. Always with me. I'm like, is this accurate? Is this precise? But so I was like, what happens with bones? Like, why do we, And so I was looking up how bones like are constantly regrowing. And when we get older, we're getting, we're shrinking because they're not doing it as fast anymore. They're like shrinking faster than we're able to produce more of them. But I thought, how amazing. I mean, our bodies are amazing, but that it's just this constant thing that is happening and regenerative. Just like, us living out our lives and living with what we've got and having our experiences and not making the most of them in a trite way, but like living them out. So yeah, the bones.
Well, the reason I say that about the bones is I've noticed that you use the word bone. You like that word.
Yeah.
And the way you say it, and it's not just, I don't think it's just with this record. It may have been on your other record too that I noticed it.
So interesting, because like, I don't know, they're a miracle.
The way you even say it, the way your mouth forms it has caught my attention.
It's in a lot of songs. I mean, I haven't even shared with you the last 4 songs. Second interview. And one of like the working title is, and I'm not so great at titles. I just kind of call it whatever's easy for me to remember, but it's called Bones, Blood, Salt Water, and Song. And it's my mom's song. And yeah, bones. I love saying it's a great word.
You love saying it too.
I do.
That's so funny because it sounds like that.
Yeah. It's just, and I'm like, and it's so funny, in Bones, Blood, Salt, Water, and Song, I'm like, I proclaim that we are bones, blood, salt, water, and song in the chorus of the song. And I'm like, that's not really accurate. We're also flesh. What about the blood vessels? What about, and then I'm like, okay, chill out with it. But the bones, yeah, what is my obsession with bones? I'll have to like,
I don't know. I don't think it's an upset. I don't think it's bad. I think it's nice. I guess when I hear you say it, to me, it feels like you get something, like you see something, you understand something. And so there's kind of a curiosity I had about it. Like, there's something very significant here.
I'm gonna think more on that one, because
Yeah.
I definitely, and it's in Radium Girls too.
Yes. Let's see. Can we go on to another one? How are you feeling in terms of energy?
I feel good in terms of energy. I think probably I have 15 minutes because Maya has a violin lesson, and said I would cook dinner before. So